चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं
This is Shrimad Bhagwatam.
श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणा रघुनाथान्वितं त्वं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णया कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरात्से नमः। जयतां सुरतो पंगोर्मम मंदमतेर्गतिः मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजो राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्याद वृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नाकरसिंहासनोऽस्तु श्रीमद्राधा शिलागोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिसेव्यमानौ स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भे वंशीवत ततः स्थितः कर्षणवेणुस्वनिर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीयेस्तु नः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्रील गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। नस्तप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna, all dear boys and girls. So we welcome you for Srimad Bhagwatam story class this evening. How many have you heard about Brahma Vimohan Leela? Can you raise your hand? How many of you have heard about Brahma Vimohan Leela? Jyotsna, Ramchandra, who else?
You mean like which Leela Lord Brahma took Krishna's friends?
Yeah, Krishna's
Yes.
friends and
I
calves.
have heard that.
Okay, very good. So Kishore, Jyotsna, Ramchandra, and Kajal. Okay, and also Manhar. Okay, very good. So we will today briefly go through that story with our slide PowerPoint presentation. So let me get the screen here. Okay, so this pastime of Brahma Vimohan Leela happened after Lord Krishna killed Aghasur. You can see the picture of Aghasur here. Can you see it? Okay, let me see if I can change this thing. One second. Let me. You can put your hand down now. Okay. So as I mentioned, this pastime happened after Lord Krishna killed Aghasur. So as you know, there are so many Vrindavan Leela right after birth that Lord Krishna has performed in Vrindavan, Balya Leela. So the first demon he killed when he was only 6 days old. Anybody remember who? Putana. Very good.
Putana.
Putana. Who said?
Putana.
Who said that?
Govinda.
Govinda. Okay, very good. So after Putana, Lord Krishna killed Trunavar. You know Saktasur. Saktasur, then Trunavrat. You know. And then there are a lot of demon he killed.
Bakasur. Then Bakasur, then
Bakasur,
Aghasur.
yeah, Vatsasur,
Then
Bakasur.
Bakasur, then Aghasur.
Yes, yes. So this pastime, the Leela, the story, what we're gonna do today regarding Brahma Vimohan Leela, Lord Krishna bewilders Brahma here in this Leela. Brahma's got bewildered. So it so happened that after saving his friends from the mouth of Aghasur, Lord Krishna brought them closer to the Yamuna river and said, "My dear friends, this is a nice place to sit lunch. To this is a nice place to eat lunch and play on the soft sandy beach. So let us have our lunch right here. It is already late and we are all so hungry. The calves can stay nearby to drink water from the river and eat the soft grass here." So, after killing Aghasur, Lord Krishna took his all friends to the sandy beach by the bank of the river Yamuna. And there you can see here, they are all sitting in circle. Krishna is in the middle. And you also can see they have various uh, items that they're gonna take in their lunch. Every cowherd boy brought something from the home. So in this scene, you can see sitting down on the ground in a circle, they began to open their lunch boxes. Lord Sri Krishna was sitting in the middle. In his left hand, he held up a lump of food made with yogurt, butter, rice, and pieces of fruit. He was laughing and joking and enjoying lunch with his friends. This is just like a scene, if you remember, when you go to picnic, right? And kids get together and they play games, they eat and they joke and then they play, so many things like that. Similarly, Krishna was doing this in the Vrindavan pastime Leela here. You can see so many of his cowherd friends. There are lotus flowers also there, you can see. Now, at that time, flying in airplanes above them in the sky, many demigods watched the boys. Lord Brahma was especially enjoying what he saw. So normally it used to happen because the demigods up in the heavenly planets, they used to come in their own plane, and they wanted to watch the Krishna's Leela. So similarly on that day also it happens that Brahma especially was enjoying this scene. It is described here. Now, as you know, Brahma is the first living entity, came out from the Garbhodaksai Vishnu, right? You remember that slide? So I have shown you in the creation of this material universe where Karanadaksai Vishnu is sitting in the Karanjal, and then he produces so many universes, and which with each universe there is a Garbhodak ocean, and in that Garbhodak ocean there is a Garbhodaksai Vishnu lies down, and from his navel the lotus flower coming out, and on the top of the flower Lord Brahma borns. So Lord Brahma was created by Lord Krishna in the beginning of the creation of this material universe. Now, what happened while they were taking this lunch, the Krishna was playing and joking and eating and taking some prasad, some food from even from his friend's mouth. So when Brahma saw, he was surprised, is how is God can be like this, like an ordinary boy, who jokes and plays, and he's eating the prasadam from directly from the mouth of his friend, so this is, he did not believe it. So what happened here, uh, as we read earlier, that they let loose the cows and calves, on the green grass. But slowly and steadily, what happened, while these boys were busy in eating their lunch, those cows and calves were going further and further away from that scene, from that area where they were taking lunch. So Brahma, after seeing this scene, he wanted to taste Krishna's supremacy, So he took these calves of these cows and the cows over there, and then he hid them in a cave in a mountain there. And then it is described here. Meanwhile, the calves had walked much too deep into the forest. The boys were afraid their calves were lost, so they cried out, Krishna, Krishna. Just by calling out Krishna at once, they felt safe from any danger. This is always the case in the Vrindavan when they go herding the cows, and when they are in trouble, they remember Krishna. So that teaches us also that when we are in trouble, we have to call out for Krishna and not anybody else, If you call out Krishna, then your suffering will go away. Just like you remember in Mahabharata, the scene of Draupadi. Draupadi was also in a dilemma because Dusasan was trying to pull her sari and tried to make her without cloth, So at that time, in the beginning, Draupadi tried to protect herself, but then at the end, she also was asking help from Pandavas, from all these, so many uh, Mahajanas were sitting, like Bhishma Pitama, Guru, Dron, everybody was there, She was asking help, but she didn't get from anybody. Finally, she called out, "Hey Govinda, hey Govinda, hey Govinda." So Lord Krishna came in a form of a sari and protected Krishna. So we have to always cry out for Krishna. And that is the purpose of our human form of life. We have to learn this from the very beginning of our life, from the age of even 5. Lord, Prahlad Maharaj teaching that in his classmate, in his classroom, he's teaching to his classmate, Komar Acharet Pragno, we have to learn this thing to love Krishna from the beginning, We have to chant this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We always should cry out for Krishna when we are in danger, That is what here exemplified by the cowherd friends of Krishna. So what did Krishna say? Krishna said, "My dear friends, please do not worry. Sit right here. I will look for the calves myself while you eat your lunch." So he promised his friends, so that is where, when he called out Krishna, the Krishna affectionately told them that, "Please, you carry on with your lunch. Don't worry. I will go and find out the calves." And then somehow Lord Brahma stole all the calves and the cowherd boys and took them to another place uh, where they slept. So what happened? When Krishna went after the calves, then Brahma played another trick. Brahma stole on this side, his friends were alone because Krishna was running after, he was looking after the calves and he was going further and further away from the scene. So Brahma got an opportunity to steal his friends. And then, as it is mentioned here, that he stole all the calves and the cowherd boys and took them to another place where they slept. Now, though Lord Krishna looked for them, he could not find them anywhere. So Krishna thought, how can I go back alone to Vrindavan? Their mothers will be so sad and worried if they know their boys are lost. See, here now Krishna was in dilemma, because there was no calves, no boys. So how he alone can go into the village of Vrindavan? What he will answer to the mothers of the cowherd boys? What he will answer to the cows, whose calves were stolen like that. So he was worried about it, So he don't want to go alone there. So let's say, what did he do next? You can see there is a swan carrier. Lord Brahma rides on the carrier of swan. And this is, you can see the beak of swan, and Brahma is sitting on it, and the cowherd boys are taking lunch here with Krishna, and Brahma is coming here to observe them. Now, so Krishna, after thinking, how can I go alone? He made himself into exact copies of each and every boy and a calf. Now, that is what Krishna can do because he is God, right? God can do anything. That is why he is God. He is Aishwaryasya Samagrasya. So Viryasya Yasa Sahasriya, Jnanam Vairagyascha Sannam Bhagitingana. He possesses 6 opulences, which and that in the fullest extent, when he possesses all these opulences. Now someone may be rich in this material world, someone may be famous, someone may be beautiful, someone may be knowledgeable, but they are not as knowledgeable, as beautiful, as rich as Krishna, because he possesses in fullest extent. And he can also show his Aishwarya. He can himself manifest, because that was the also in the beginning of the creation of this material world, when he was sitting alone in the spiritual dham, Golok Vrindavan dham. He created his first expansion, which was Balram. And from Balram, that Chaturvya came. That Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Niruddha, like that. So he expand himself, his Prakash Vaibhav, and that is how he also expanded himself into exact copies of each, every boy and a calf. So now he himself made that cowherd boys and calf in such a way that the mother will not even recognize, will not even, doubt that that is his son. So whatever exact form of that son, of that mother, he himself made himself like that. So he expanded like that, so many of those. So they were just like each and every one of the lost cows and friends, in their different sizes, colors, faces, clothes, ornaments, and in whatever they said and whatever they did. Now you can see that uh, Lord Krishna completely imitated, including the face, the dress, the structure, the height, everything. Even the how they speak, everything copied, same thing. And that is the reason why their mothers did not doubt for even a year. This past long, this past time went for 1 year. We will see that, how it is disclosed later on. So when Krishna went back to the village of Vrindavan, no one knew what had happened. Why no one knew? Because it was as it is, as normal, so nobody can doubt. All the calves, when their cow sheds, and the boys went to their own mothers and homes, the mothers bathed their children, put tilak and ornaments, and gave them their dinner after the day's work as usual. And the calves came to their mother cows, which licked their bodies. So it's like everyday routine was followed, and nobody would realize, nobody could find out what had happened. So that was like a mystery. So actually, the cows' love for their calves and the gopis' love for their boys grew even more, just like their love for Krishna. This is the very important point here. What happened? Because in that friend's form, Krishna was himself there. And same thing, the calves also, Krishna was there. Now, uh, when Krishna was doing so many leelas in Vrindavan, all the mothers of Vrindavan thought that wish I could have this, son like Krishna. So they were all wishing that thing, that, Krishna would be my son. Uh, cows also have the same kind of attraction for Krishna. So here, because actually he was Krishna, their love for their children grew more. They tried to love their child more and more. They could not figure out why, but because it was Krishna himself was there. Okay. Now, one day, what happened, that Krishna and Balram went out with the boys and calves. The usual thing was going on like routine as before, you know. So actually, when it happened, Balram wasn't there, at that time. So now in their routine uh, of herding the cows, going to different forest in Vrindavan, playing games, joking, all these things was going on. Now, during that time, one day what happened, that is described here, that Krishna and Balram went out with the boys and calves. They saw the cows up on top of Govardhan run down the hill to their calves with great love. The men also were thinking of their children with tears of love in their eyes. Balram saw this and thought, this must be Krishna's tree. So Balram is the second expansion of Krishna. Now, he can immediately figure out, he can immediately can know, because they're all Sarvagna. Sarvagna means omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, like that. They possess that qualities. Omniscient, all knowledgeable, means they can see future, they can see past, and they already know present anyway. So that they are knower of past, present, and future. In other words, okay. So then here, Balram understood, he understood that all those boys and calves were really forms expanded from Krishna. Actually, he also asked Krishna that what had happened, and then these things were disclosed. So Krishna explained Balram what happened on his birthday. The reason he did not go the first day when it happened, because it was Krishna's birthday. So Krishna's during that time went to with Rohini mother, because his mother was Rohini. So they want to celebrate their birthday and all this kind of thing. So especially on that day, Balram did not go when initially this incident happened. Now, while Krishna and Balram were talking, Lord Brahma came back to see the fun made by his stealing the boys and cow. Now, Brahma was very curious because he hid them and now he came again to see. Okay, now let's see what happened. So he was surprised to see them all there and thought, I just took all these boys and their calves from here, and I know they are still sleeping in another place. So how can the same boys and calves are still be there playing with Krishna? So this is the wonder of Lord Brahma. He wondered, he's surprised, how come I have hidden them? How come they are same thing here? So this is how Brahma was bewildered. Like it is said in the first verse of Bhagwatam also we said, Tene Brahmarare Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yas Suraya. Muhyanti means illusion. Suraya means demigod. So demigod like Brahma, Lord Krishna put them into illusion, like that. So he was thinking that how come these boys, same calves, they are playing here and I have hidden them over there. So that was his curiosity. So I just took all these boys and their calves from here and I know they are still sleeping in another place. So how can the same boys and calves are still be there playing with Krishna? That was his confusion. you know he's wondering about that thing. Now let's say what happened. You can see now Krishna is showing this power to Brahma, you know how he expanded this thing. So then Brahma saw something very wonderful happen. So Krishna knew that Brahma is in confusion. He is thinking what happened, why happened. So to make him more wondrous, more, to put him more into illusion, what Krishna did here. So this is what Brahma saw. Something very wonderful happened. What did happen? Krishna changed all those boys and calves into beautifully decorated four-arm Vishnu form. You can see all of them are in four-arm Vishnu form. In each arm, they also have a gada, like Padma, conch shell, like the Sankh Chakra Gada Padma, they call it. Sankh is conch shell, Gada is club, Padma is lotus flower, and Chakra is Sudarshan Chakra, wheel, ultimate weapon for Krishna, as you all know. See, and Krishna is sitting there and he expanded and you see all his cowboys, he shows in the form of a Chaturbhuj form there. So then they all turned back into covered boys and calves, though they had just been seen as Vishnu form. So Lord Brahma saw them in first Vishnu form, then again Krishna changed them to the natural covered boys. Then, oh, sorry. Then he saw Krishna, I mean, Brahma saw Krishna alone as a small covered boy again with a lump of food in his left hand. All the Vishnu forms had gone and Krishna was looking for his friends and calves, just as he was actually doing when they first disappeared. Okay. So now Brahma comes down from his swan. So now Lord Brahma got down from his great swan carrier and fell just like a golden stick to offer his respectful obeisances. As he remembered, he full sight he had seen. He cried with a joy and fell and rose again and again. For a long time, he offered prayers to Lord. So, in between, what happened? Brahma was going back and forth, where he hid those boys and coming here, and then finally, he recognized, or he knew, or he can now, understand that it is Lord Krishna himself. So you can see that Lord Brahma in four-headed form here now, trying to offer lotus flower, and with other two hands he's paying his obeisances to Krishna, and he's offering his prayer, and that is so in this one, uh, when he was offering prayer, actually in prayer mode, Lord Brahma glorified Krishna in so many verses, and we have one book called Brahma Samhita, where the first verse that he's singing for Krishna is Iswaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidanand Vigraha Anadiradi Govindam Sarva Karana Karanam. So at the end, we will recite that verse. I will have you recite all these verses also. But Lord Brahma, to glorify Lord Krishna, has written so many verses, especially in our ISKCON, many times with some ceremonial occasion, we chant this Brahma's prayer that beautifully is prayed by Lord Brahma. He says that, Chintamani prakarasadma sukalpa vruksha laksavratesu surabera vipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra satasambhrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So he's describing about his Chintamani Dham and Kalpavruksha. And then he's also, Brahma is glorifying the Lord's beauty in this form, which we also sing in our temple every day in the morning during Darshan Arti in the morning. Some of you know it. It says, Venum kavantam aravinda dalayataksham barhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Visesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So in this verse, he is glorifying the beauty of Krishna. Lord Brahma is saying that I worship Govinda, the primal Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute with blooming eyes like lotus petal, with head bedecked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue cloud, and the unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. So you can see Lord Krishna's booty. He's wearing the long garland, and he has his complexion is like newly fresh cloud, with water laden cloud in the sky when you see. So that kind of color is exactly, he's not black as we sometimes see, but this is the color, exact color of Krishna shown in this picture here. You can see that. And then also another verse we sing is that Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti pasyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti ananda chinmaya sadujjvala vigrahasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Likewise, there are many verses. In this verse, it is said that Lord Krishna can use his senses. His senses are interchangeable. In other words, uh, our senses, for example, eyes, only can do the function of seeing. Eyes cannot hear, right? So similarly, our ears only can hear but cannot see. Okay, so that is the only one function each senses can do in our body. But Krishna's body is spiritual body, and his senses interchangeable means one sense can do the work of other sense also. In other words, he can also eat with his eyes, he can also hear with his eyes, he can see with his ears, like that, interchangeable. The function of the senses can be interchangeable in Krishna. So that is what in this verse says. So likewise, there are many verses. We will not go all of them, but very very nice verses in the glorification of Lord Krishna that Brahma is offering to Lord Krishna there. He also described regarding his Golok Vrindavan Dham, and where it says, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabhirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhihi Goloka Eva Nivasati Akhilatma Bhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Like that. So there are many verses like that. For example, regarding Golokdham, Golokanamni Nijadamni Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridam Sute Sutesu Tete Prabhava Nichaya Vihitascha Govindavadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So he's offering many prayers like this. Now, Brahma's prayer to Lord Krishna, which we already said, Lord Brahma said, so here some of the things that he said here. Brahma said, you look just like a village boy, carrying your food in your hand and looking for your calves. Then I saw you and all the boys and calves as 400 Vishnus, and they were being worshipped by all the demigods, even me. Again, they all became cowherd boys. And then you were alone as you were before. Please accept me as your loving servant. I hope you will excuse me for disturbing you. Now, take the boys and calves. Please let me leave so you can enjoy the company of your friends and calves without my interfering. And yeah, the Lord Krishna walked around Krishna. No, this is wrong here. It's Lord Brahma walked around Krishna three. I mean, he circumambulated Krishna, offering his obeisances, and went back to his uh, own place. Then Krishna's friends now back beside the Yamuna got over there were eating lunch just as they had been doing when Krishna left to look for the lost cows. When Krishna came, the boys said, "Please come and let us eat together." Krishna smiled and sat down. You can see that this is the final scene here. You can see. You can see this is the final scene that they back to their normal, picnic type situation that they all sitting and taking their lunch. Okay, so before we take any questions, I will have you recite the one easy verse, that is the first verse of Brahma's prayer that we find in Brahma Samhita. So let me get out of this thing here, and you can unmute yourself and recite the verse after me. Okay, everybody ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I
I'll
remember
recite this.
the first verse one day.
Oh,
I already know the verse.
Yeah, I
you
have
know?
memorized it.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So anyway, just recite after me, and then whoever knows that thing, I will have them recite also. Okay. So everybody together recite after me. Okay. All right. Iswaraha Paramaha Krishnaha
Ishvara Paramah Krishna
Anand Vigraha
Sachidananda
Iradi Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. Okay, one more time. Iswaraha Paramaha Krishnaha
Ishvara Krishna
Sachidanand Vigraha
Sachidananda
Anadiradi Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. So the translation of this verse is Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. He has eternal blissful spiritual body, Sat, Chit and Ananda. These three qualities. Sat means eternity, Chit means full of knowledge, and Anand means blissful. So Lord Krishna possesses these three qualities, Sat, Chit, Ananda. He is the origin of all, Sarva Karana Karanam. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes, cause of all causes. Okay, so he's Anadi, he's there beginning. There is no beginning and no end for Krishna. He is there eternally. Okay, so now you can raise your hand if you want to recite the verse. Those who knows the verse, please raise your hand, and I will ask them one by one to recite this verse. Okay, let's see. Who is Parthsarthi? Okay, Mihika, can you go ahead and recite this verse?
Okay, Prabhuji. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam.
Very good. Ramchandra?
I raised my hand to say the verse.
Ramchandra, you want to recite the verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam.
Very good. Varun?
Okay, Prabhuji. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karana.
Okay, yes.
Ishvara Para Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadyadir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam.
Very good. Manhar?
Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Like
Very nice.
I saw this verse from Vedabase, so I like memorized it from Vedabase.
Very good, very good. How about Bhumi? Who is Bhumi?
Hare Krishna, this is Bhumi.
Hare Krishna, can you turn your camera on? You should have your camera on, you know. Bhumi, can you sing? You can unmute yourself. Would you like to sing this verse? Hare Krishna.
You're muted.
Yeah, she is muted, so I don't know. Okay, who is next? Myra, would you like to?
I don't know it.
Okay, can you recite after me? You will learn. Okay, Iswaraha Paramaha Krishnaha.
Ishvara Krishna. Can you repeat?
Yeah, Iswaraha Paramaha Krishnaha.
Ishvara
Paramaha
Paramaha
Krishnaha.
Krishna
Satchidananda Vigraha.
Satchidananda
Satchidananda Vigraha.
Satchidananda
Anadiradi Govindaha.
Anaryananda Govinda
Anadiradir Govindaha.
Anaryananda Govinda
Sarva Karana Karanam.
Sarvas. Can I say that again?
Okay, very good. Good try, Bhumi. Okay, Bhumi Balaji. Who is Bhumi Balaji? Can you unmute yourself and sing the verse?
Okay. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam.
Very good. You all did very good job. Do you like the pastime of Lord Krishna?
Yes.
You're good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So now we'll take the question. So those who have question can raise the hand. Okay, Manhar, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Just did Lord Krishna just want to bewilder Lord Brahma, or did like Lord Brahma just wanted to just like when he saw it, he just wanted to steal them, or did Lord Krishna wanted to bewilder Lord Brahma?
So you're speaking so fast. I mean, I can't make it out. What is your question? Can
So
you?
like, did Lord Krishna want to bewilder Lord Brahma, or did Lord Brahma did Lord Brahma just saw Krishna doing this and he just wanted to test Krishna?
Yeah. So what is? Yeah, he wanted to. Because he saw some funny things there, right? Because
Yeah.
Krishna was so Brahma would want to test whether he is really God or so that is his intention, to test. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you. Next, Bhumi, you can ask you unmute yourself and ask the question, Bhumi.
Prabhuji, I just didn't lower my hand. I didn't have.
Oh, okay, that's fine. So, Parthsarthi, Mihika, you have a question?
Prabhuji, my question is that, like, Krishna doesn't come every every Dwapar Yuga. So instead of Krishna, like he comes in the 7 month mantra. So who comes? Which avatar comes for the rest of the mantra?
Yeah, so he sends his representative instead of him.
But who? Which avatar?
So it's like, I mean, that is not specifically mentioned that in other, say, for example, Chaturyugi, because Dwapar Yug comes in every Chaturyug. But he only comes in the seventh, what do you call it, the cycle, Chaturyugi, Vaivasat Manu. This is the seventh Manu, right? So he will not come in each and every Manus. But even each and every Manu, there are so many Dwapar Yugas, right? Because each Manu has 71 cycle of these 4 Yugas turnover, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is no who comes, it's not said anywhere, but that names are not given anywhere. I haven't come across so far.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Anybody have any question?
Prabhuji, can you tell us some example where Krishna sends his representatives?
Example of what?
Yeah, like where Krishna shows his representative.
Oh, well, all his incarnations and for example, you know, all these incarnations that we learn in chapter 3, right? Uh, I mean, and there are different categories of incarnations also, right? We learn about different category, like Saktyavis avatar, Manvand avatar, Guna avatar, like. So actually it is him that he is coming, you know.
Oh,
But in a different, like Narsingh Bhagwan, right? Vaman avatar. So all these avatars, what happens is they come with some specific mission and function, and accordingly they are there. Like Narsingh Bhagwan mission and was completely different. So he did not display any other pastime, but he just saved Prahlad Maharaj,
okay.
like that.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So Hare Krishna, Mataji, we can end the call here now.
Okay.
And I don't know what is your routine after the class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, any routine or anything after the class?
No, Prabhuji. Today is nothing after class, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right.
Only
So
stop.
let's